There are three parts to Rashi's commentary to Shemot 3:15. In part 1, Rashi takes note of the fact that the word le'olam is recorded chaser vav, without the vav, whereas the word is normally spelled with a vav, such as when Rashi references the pasuk in Tehillim, and then goes on to offer an alternative interpretation to the statement Zeh Shmi le'olam that reflects the missing vav. Part 2 is a commentary to the words V'zeh Zichri, drawn from Gemara Pesachim, and in part 3 Rashi draws upon a pasuk in Sefer Tehillim, Hashem Shimcha Le'olam, Hashem Zichrecha L'dor Vador. And whereas Shemot 3:15 the narrator speaks in the name of God, in Tehillim we have the words of David HaMelech, same terminology, Shimcha, Zichrecha, Le'olam, and L'dor Vador. As a noun, the word olam is used to refer to both time and space. When used with respect to time, it suggests the most extreme period of time, in other words eternity. When used with reference to space, the word olam would be translated as a world, as in a bracha, Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam, etc. As a verb, the ayin lamed mem implies the process of concealment, to hide, to conceal, to disappear, to vanish, hence the link to olam, space, an area where there is a concealment of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This being the point that Rashi is making with respect to the missing vav, that it is not to be treated as a noun but rather a verb. Zeh Shmi, my name, the olam needs to be concealed. The Zeh Shmi refers to the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu mentioned in the previous stanza, Hashem Elokei Avotechem, that the Yud-Kei Vav-Kei was to be hidden from man, as reflected in the fact that it was not to be pronounced in its written format. This dovetails into the symbolism of the missing vav. We mentioned earlier that there were 7 Shemot HaKadoshot, each reflecting a different aspect of God's interaction with man. It's generally accepted that the Yud-Kei Vav-Kei reflects Midat HaChesed, whereas the Elokim reflects Midat HaGvura. Chesed translated into acts of kindness and mercy, Gvura translated as a sense of judgment, severity, a distinction that can very well be demonstrated throughout most of the Chumash. The Rebbe in the SICHAH now feeds this information back into the narrative. When Moshe was given the Shlichut in Shemot Perek 3, his response was that the Jews will ask, Ma Shmo? And the Rebbe, reading between the lines, understands this question to reflect a challenge as to why did God stand by and permit such horrendous acts to be perpetrated against his people? Or in other words, where was God as protector of the Bnei Israel? To which the answer comes, firstly, Eheyeh asher eheyeh, I am with them in their times of trouble, and furthermore, not only have I not removed my presence from them, their suffering is also my suffering. And then God goes on to add in Pasuk 15 another piece of information, hence Vayamar Od Elokim El Moshe. And here God responds to the original question of Ma Shmo, which aspect of HaKadosh Baruch Hu has been involved in the Egyptian exile, which on the surface appears to be God expressing Midat HaGvura, and hence the question, why did God allow himself to function with Midat HaGvura rather than Midat HaChesed? And to this comes the response that Zeh Shmi, that the Midah that God expressed throughout the Egyptian slavery was not one of Gvura, implying punishment or severity, but rather Hashem, the Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, a God of Rachamim. However, for reasons only known to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, this Midah of Rachamim was one that needed to be concealed, and hence the outcome was a period of extreme suffering at the hands of the Egyptians. In the words of Rashi, the missing vav points to the fact that He'elimuhu, the Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, while present, was also concealed, and this is reflected in the body language that Shelo Yikareh Kiktavo, that the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei cannot be read as written, even in Tfilah, and is replaced with the word Ado